Hey, it is Troy Stavros with Cornerstone Realty Associates, and it is time for our monthly market update on East Tennessee and Knoxville. All the data is in through the end of December, through the end of the year. So let's take a look and see where we stand as far as the housing market in East Tennessee. One thing always to keep in mind is as we enter into the end of the year, a lot of times these numbers can be skewed because of the holidays, but it's always good to take a look and see where we stand as far as compared to 1 year earlier and then what we look like presently and moving forward. So let's take a look at East Tennessee first as a whole. This is all of the surrounding counties in East Tennessee lumped together. And you can see comparing December of 2023 to December of 2022, home sales are down 15.8%. That is down even further than it was last month because you can see on the card to the left, we were down 7.8% last month, down 15.8% compared to last year as of the end of December. Pending sales were up 1.7%. The inventory of homes was up 12.7%, so a little bit more available inventory for buyers that are looking out there. New listings are up 18.7%. That's a pretty good number. So definitely seeing more inventory come on the market, which is good for both buyers and for helping prices moderate. Speaking of prices, the median sales price compared to last year is up 8.49% in East Tennessee and coming in at $345,000. That is the median sales price in all of East Tennessee, $345,000. The average sold price per square foot came in at $206 per square foot on average for the homes that sold in December. The absorption rate fell. Last month we were at 2.95 months worth of inventory and it fell to 2.88 months worth of inventory. While it shows inventory rising as a whole 12.7% compared to last month, the absorption rate fell to 2.88 months worth of inventory. And what the absorption rate takes into account is basically supply and demand. So we saw more inventory, so that tells us that demand has picked up a little bit, which is a good thing for the market. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at some of the graphs. So this is East Tennessee. You can see that inventory rose and peaked in November and then started coming down over the last month, and that is typical for this time of year. And you can see that the absorption rate shows the same thing, peaked in November and then started coming down in December. As far as listing prices throughout East Tennessee, you can see we have held pretty steady all the way from July until December. Not a whole lot of movement on listing prices. The average median list price is held steady. The new median list price has come down since October. Also has something to do with the time of year, but something to keep an eye on as well. When we look at the pending and sold, those stayed pretty stable as well as we look back through April, May, June. Those all held pretty steady. When we go down a little bit further, we take a look at the sold to list price ratio. That tells us how much negotiation is happening, and we are seeing as time has gone from June until December, we are seeing more negotiation happening. This means that there's more percentages coming off of the list price of the home. So people are getting a little bit better deal than they were earlier in the year. When we scroll down here and take a look and see what price ranges are selling the most, we can see that the number one selling price point was 250 to 300, had 167 sales, but then 200 to 250 had 158, 300 to 350 had 144, 350 to 400 had 150. So these four price ranges were definitely where the most of the sales happened. When we look and see what anomalies may have happened, let's take a look and see down here. We saw a 125% increase in the sale of homes between 1.1 and 1.2 million right here. There were 9 sales in that price point. There were 12 sales, so it doubled from last year between 1 million and 1.2. So definitely seeing more sales in these price ranges right here between 1 million and 1.2 million. And then as we scroll down a little bit further, we saw 4 sales in the 1.7 to 1.8 million, which was a 300% increase over last year. We saw 3 sales between 2.25 and 2.5, which was a 200% increase over December of last year. When we look and see what is pending, what price ranges are pending, it basically holds true with what prices are selling the most. The number one price point for pending sales was right here, the 250 to 300,000 price point, followed by the 300 to 350 price point. But the majority of them, again, are between 200 and 400 as far as the most homes going under contract in East Tennessee. Down here, this was an anomaly, 1,500% increase in pending sales in the 950 to 1 million price point. 16 homes went under contract between 950 and a million in December. That is a big number. Also, we had 31 go under contract in the 650 to 700, 15 between 700 and 750, 14 between 750 and 800, 13 between 800 and 850, and 12 between 850 and 900. We are definitely seeing homes go under contract. When we look at the homes that are active on the market, what price point has the most available homes on the market as of the end of December? It looks like it's pretty close between the 250 to 300, which has 442, and the 350 to 400, which has 440. When we look at the new listings that are coming on the market, the most new listings that came on the market were in the 250 to 300 price range, followed closely behind by the 300 to 350 and the 350 to 400. In the upper bracket, the most homes came on the market in the 950 to 1 million price point at 950 to a million. Actually, even more than that, the 1.3 million to 1.4 million, 17 homes came on the market last month. Okay, let's take a look and see what is happening in Knoxville. So this is everything that has a Knoxville, Tennessee address. Taking a look there compared to last month, we had home sales down 17.1% last month compared to a year earlier. So home sales were definitely trending down. Pending sales were up 7.9%. So while home sales were down, when we look at home sales, that's looking in the rear view mirror. So that's telling us, okay, these were homes that typically went under contract a month to 2 months ago. So when we want to look and see what's happening ahead of us, we want to look at pending sales. So home sales were down, but pending sales are up. So that bodes well for what's going to happen in the future. And remember, when we look at home sales, if we're talking about 1 to 2 months ago, in October, we had interest rates at 8%. So that would make sense why home sales are down now if those are the homes that are closing now, because less went under contract when interest rates were above 8%. But pending sales are up 7.9% in Knoxville. The inventory of homes is up 19.4%, so definitely more homes on the market. New listings up 20.4%. Lots of new listings coming on the market, but median sales price compared to a year ago is up 11.47% in Knoxville. That's a big increase and is coming in at $367,864, with the average sold price per square foot coming in at $203 per square foot. When we look at the inventory of homes and new listings and pending sales all going up, more inventory is going to allow for more home sales. So as we go into January and into 2024, I'm hoping this is showing us that we can expect more home sales in the housing market. When we look at the absorption rate in Knoxville, the absorption rate dropped from 1.9 months of inventory to 1.81 months of inventory. Still a very low amount of inventory, which is, even with inventory rising, typically when supply rises, if there's not enough demand, it's going to bring home prices down. But with inventory below 2 months of inventory, that is going to keep prices stable to rising, because a healthy market has 6 months of inventory. So we are definitely in a area of inventory that is far below normal. And it won't take much demand to soak up less than 2 months of inventory, so prices will continue to remain stable. Let's take a look and see what the graphs are showing as far as Knoxville goes. Typically, it's following along with what it said as far as all of East Tennessee. It peaked in November and started coming down. So same with the absorption rate, peaked in November, started coming down in December. And again, prices right here, steady as they go, all the way from June. There's not been a big move in the list prices in Knoxville. And same can be said for new median list price, pending list price, and the sold price, all looking pretty steady with those lines going straight across there. As far as sold to list ratio, we are seeing more negotiation happening. You can see starting back in May, it started ticking down, held steady, and then in August, we started seeing a lot more negotiation happening here in Knoxville. So people are getting a little bit more off the list price than what was happening earlier in the year. As far as Knoxville, what is selling the most? The number one, it's pretty close. Again, these hold pretty steady along with what we were saying as far as East Tennessee. 200 to 400 price range are where the majority of your sales are happening. And then also seeing quite a bit in the 4 to 450 range. And then as we go down into the more expensive homes, the biggest seller between 1.1 and 1.2 million had 3 sales last month. As far as pending sales, most pending sales are happening between 300 and 400,000. 300 to 350 saw 56 pending sales last month, and the 350 to 400 saw 59 pending sales last month. In the higher priced homes, 550 to 600 saw 17 go under contract, and you can see it starts dwindling down the more expensive they go, but then you see a pretty good jump from the 650 to 700 had 15, and then down here 950 to $1 million had 8 homes go under contract. The 1.2 to 1.3 million saw 5 go under contract. As far as active listings, the most active listings in Knoxville are pretty much a tie between these two here. The 300 to 400 price range has the most active listings available right now in Knoxville. As far as the upper bracket goes, we have 13 between 1.1 and 1.2 and 12 between 1.2 and 1.3, 17 available between 950 and $1 million. As far as new listings that are coming on the market, the most new listings, again, that 300 to 400 price range saw the most new listings come on the market, with 59 here and 61 here. As we go down into the more expensive homes, we saw 14 come on the market between the 600 and 650, 24 between 550 and 6. So again, you'll see more come on the market, and then it just dwindles down as the price range comes down as well. Okay, so let's go and take a look at what is happening countywide. So countywide, as we look at the East Tennessee counties, December of 2023 compared to December of 2022, Roane County available inventory is up 32.5% compared to a year ago. Pending sales are even, and the median sales price in Roane County is up 30.29% and came in at $341,950, with the median sold price per square foot in Roane County coming in at $161 per square foot, which is a pretty good drop from the month earlier. When we look at the month earlier on the card to the left, Roane County's median sales price per square foot came in at $181. Definitely saw some homes sell for less per square foot in Roane County last month. In Knox County, the available inventory is up 16.1%. Pending sales are up 5.6%. The median sales price in Knox County is up 10.8%. and coming in at $365,000, with the median sold price per square foot coming in at $201 per square foot. When we look at Anderson County, the available inventory in Anderson County is up 49.6%. Pending sales are up 3.6%. The median sales price in Anderson County is up 1% compared to a year ago and coming in at $278,500, with the median sold price per square foot coming in at $181 per square foot. Loudon County available inventory is up 4.9%. Pending sales are up 13%. And the median sales price in Loudon County is up 3.43% compared to a year ago and came in December at $452,500, with the median sold price per square foot coming in at $227 per square foot. In Sevier County, available inventory is up 23.89%. Pending sales in Sevier County are down 30.14% compared to a year ago. And the median sales price in December was up 8.35% and came in at $659,500, with the median sold price per square foot coming in at $400 per square foot in Sevier County. Remember, that's where we see a lot of investment properties. Typically, our price per square foot is higher in Sevier County because of cabins and things like that. In Blount County, available inventory is up 23.9%. Pending sales are up 23.6%. And the median sales price in Blount County is up 11.32% and came in at $378,600, with the median sold price per square foot coming in at $220 per square foot in Blount County. Let's jump over. I want to jump back and take a look at some data for Knoxville again. This is looking at the active data. So this is looking at all of the data that is currently active on the market, taking away pendings, taking away solds, only looking at active inventory. So it's always good to look at this information because it's really forward looking. It's looking at what is happening right now. When we look at the market action index, which is this diagram right here, this is telling us whether we are in a buyer's market or a seller's market. The further left on the dial it goes, the more of a buyer's market it is. The further right, the more of a seller's market is. And the cutoff between buyer and seller's market is at this number right here, 30. So you can see that we're above 30, so we're still in a slight seller's market in Knoxville. And you can see compared to last month, it's a little less of a seller's market this month than it was last month, but still a slight seller's market. And this is taking into account inventory, demand, price reductions, things of that sort. So when we look over here on the right, this is the real-time market profile. These little graphs are telling us what has happened over the last 90 days, so we can see what is happening in the market visually. So the median list price has come down over the last 90 days, but that is not uncommon for this time of year as we go through the holidays. But the median list price through Friday, January 5th, because we get this new data every Friday, is coming in at $459,899 is the median list price. The median price of new listings coming on the market was $379,900. That has held pretty steady over the last 90 days. The price per square foot has trended up over the last 90 days and came in on last Friday at $218 a square foot for the available inventory in Knoxville. The median days on the market has trended up and is at 56 days on the market. Again, not uncommon as we enter the winter months. We will always tend to see days on the market increase. Price increases have held pretty steady, but they're still at 50%, which is a high number. So we need to keep an eye on this number just to see that it doesn't stay this high. We're wanting it to trend down as we enter into the new year. As we see more demand, then we will see this number come down. But because we've seen a low amount of demand because interest rates have been so high, we have seen more homes have to decrease their prices. And what this is telling us is that half of the homes that are currently active on the market in Knoxville have had a price reduction. When we look at relisted, this is anything that has come off the market. So maybe it went under contract and then it had to come back on because it fell through. 6% has happened there. That's a normal number. Anything under 10% is normal. If that gets over 10%, then we might need to look closer and that it might be concerning, but nothing concerning there now. Inventory has gone up and then started to trend down. We saw that earlier happening in November. We saw things peak and then start coming down in December. Median rent has held pretty steady, and the market action index has definitely trended lower over the last 90 days. But again, that's typical going into the holidays. Let's look down here at the market segments. When we look at the market segments, this breaks the market in Knoxville into 4 segments. It breaks it into 25 percentiles. So when we look at those, the lowest percentile, the lowest 25% of the market of active homes on the market comes in at 275,000. That averages around 1,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. The average age of those homes is about 74 years. But the thing that we want to watch is what it says here. So as of last week, 17 new listings came on the market in that segment, and 23 were absorbed. So that means 17 new listings, but 23 listings were absorbed in that segment. So that's telling you that there is definitely still demand because more are being absorbed than new coming on the market. And in that segment, that is the fastest moving segment at 49 days on the market. The next percentile up, which comes in at basically 400,000, that gets you about 1,834 square feet, a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, and the 36-year-old home. We saw 12 of those homes come on the market last week, 23 absorbed. So again, same as this, more being absorbed that are coming on the market. The next percentile up, next segment, 528, that gets you about 2,500 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, about a 20-year-old home. We saw 9 homes come on the market last week, 15 of them absorbed. Again, more absorbed than new listings coming on the market, 56 days on the market there, same as the segment below it. And then the highest segment, the luxury segment, the median price is coming in at $850,000 basically. That gets you about 3,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, about a 21-year-old home. 5 new listings came on the market last week, 17 were absorbed. 77 days on the market is the average there. Again, remember, we don't see a lot of new listings come on the market this time of year, so we really want to watch these numbers as we get into probably the second week in January and then moving forward. But it's always good to keep an eye on this information. This information here is available to you. If you're interested, I will post a link to where you can get this information. You can subscribe for this so you can watch this yourself if you have interest in doing that. Let's jump into a summary of what is happening in the market in Knoxville with things right now. So the top 3 reasons, so a recent survey revealed that the top 3 reasons why many buyers have put their home search on hold is this right here. 72% said it was mortgage rates. 34% said it was inventory. 17% said it was affordability. The good news is expectations are that these concerns will significantly ease up in 2024, making it a more promising year for buyers, and especially mortgage rates. Let's talk a little bit more about that. It has been quite the roller coaster for people over the last few years. When you look at this chart, the monthly principal and interest payment on a $500,000 mortgage had both of these within the last 2 years. It had a decade low when they were at 2.65%, and that $500,000 mortgage would have cost you $2,015 a month. That was in January of 2021. In October of 2023, just a few months ago, there was a decade high at 8.03%, and that same $500,000 mortgage costs you $3,679. Today, we're around 6.67%, so that same $500,000 mortgage, $3,216 a month. So you can see what a wild ride it has been and why so many people are struggling with affordability right now. There's a big difference between those payments. This year, we've witnessed the U.S. mortgage rates soared their highest since 2001. This culminated in a significant quarter-point increase from last year, jumping over 8% in October, like we just talked about. This uptick has directly contributed to one of the lowest home sales records in history, as higher borrowing costs have deterred many potential buyers. But there's a silver lining. The rates have seen a decrease over 1% from the highs of last October. So the downward trend, as well as recent news from the Fed, indicates that potential easing of mortgage rates will happen in 2024. And as rates become more favorable, borrowing costs become less expensive, thus encouraging more home buying. This shift could revitalize the housing market by increasing demand, stabilizing prices, and increasing affordability, and encouraging a resurgence in home sales. So basically, while 2023 has been challenging due to the high mortgage rates, the anticipated fall in rates in 2024 is likely to bolster the housing market, providing a more favorable environment for buyers and sellers alike. When we take a look at this here, this was from a graph on Realtor.com that showed a hotness score of which counties were hot in Tennessee. And you can see why it's so important to look specifically, not only locally, but hyperlocally, what difference there can be between one market and another. When you look at this hotness score, you can see Anderson County is very hot. Knox County is hot, but right next to it is Sevier County, and that is cold. So remember, real estate is local, so you want to talk to somebody about what is specifically happening where you are locally. And talking about that, let's talk about U-Haul. According to a U-Haul report, Tennessee has been recognized as one of the top growth states in the United States, according to the latest annual ranking from U-Haul International. In 2023, the volunteer state achieved the 5th position in the list of U.S. growth states, showing an upward trend from its 6th rank in 2022. So moved from 6th to 5th as the highest growing. This data, reflecting Tennessee's growing popularity, is particularly relevant for those interested in real estate in the state. U-Haul's rankings are based on the analysis of more than 2.5 million one-way truck, trailer, and container rentals over the year. The company identifies growth states and growth cities by calculating the net gain of one-way U-Haul trucks entering versus leaving each area. Although U-Haul migration trends are not direct indicators of population or economic growth, they offer a perspective on the attractiveness of states and cities in terms of resident attraction and retention. For potential buyers, this information could be a useful indicator of housing demand trends. In Tennessee, Knoxville led the rankings as the top city in the state, placing 17th nationally. So it was 17th out of all cities in the United States. Additionally, Murfreesboro was the only city from Middle Tennessee to enter the top 25, ranking number 21. Other cities in Tennessee, such as Clarksville and Chattanooga, also received mention for their notable performance, but they didn't make the top 25. These rankings are significant for those looking to buy, sell, or move to Tennessee, and they highlight the state's increasing appeal as a destination for movers, potentially impacting the local real estate market. All right, let's talk a little bit about rent. The latest insights from rentometer.com reveal that the average rent for 3-bedroom single-family rentals in Knoxville hit $22.35 in the third quarter of 2023. So when we say single-family rentals, that means a home that is a rental, not an apartment. So this marked a 3% increase from last year. In contrast, a 3-bedroom apartment averaged $17.99 during the same period. So single-family home averaged $22.35, a 3-bedroom apartment averaged about $1,800. Notably, Knoxville leads the 5 largest Tennessee cities with the largest year-over-year rent increase for single-family units. The trend highlights Knoxville's growing appeal and rising housing costs, especially when compared to other cities. For instance, renting a single-family home in Nashville used to be 23% more expensive than in Knoxville in the second quarter of 2022. Now that gap has narrowed to 17%. Meanwhile, Chattanooga's rental prices are now 12% cheaper than Knoxville's, a notable increase from 7% last year. Lastly, I recently did a video talking about how many more apartment units are coming on the market in Knoxville and Farragut. And this data shows nationwide that it is happening nationwide. There's more supply of apartments hitting the market in 2024 than we have seen since way back in 1970. So that is good news for renters because more supply will bring rent down. And also, this could be trickle effect to the housing market. And the reason for that is if rents decline, that means inflation will decline along with it. And if inflation declines, then the Fed will be more apt to reduce their rate, which will then affect mortgage rates and bring mortgage rates lower, which will then affect the housing market in a positive way. It's good news that there is more available apartment inventory come available because that will, one, help renters have cheaper rent, and two, hopefully, ultimately, bring us lower mortgage rates. Okay, so that was a lot of information. If you have any questions about any of this, don't hesitate to reach out. Knoxville is doing incredibly well as far as price appreciation compared to the rest of the country. So we want to keep watching what is happening with inventory. We want to keep watching what is happening with price reductions and what is happening with demand. And I will keep showing that information to you as the data comes out. Have a great day. Reach out to me if I can help in any way. This is Troy Stavros with Cornerstone Realty Associates.